The cream-colored envelope felt like it was burning through my fingers. I must have read the names printed in elegant gold script 100 times, but they still didn't make sense. Camilla Armstrong and Gabriel Evans request the pleasure of your company. My mother and my boyfriend of 6 years getting married to each other. My name is Hope, and this is the story of how I destroyed my mother's wedding. Are you actually going to open it? Victoria asked, perched on the edge of my kitchen counter with a glass of wine that had long since gone warm. She'd rushed over the moment I texted her about the invitation's arrival. I already know what's inside, I said, finally tearing open the envelope. Just like I knew something was wrong when Gabriel started working late at Mom's company 6 months ago. Just like I knew something was off when Mom started wearing that perfume he bought me for Christmas. The invitation slipped out, along with a handwritten note in my mother's perfect cursive. Darling, I hope you'll stand beside me on my special day. Despite everything, you're still my daughter. I laughed until tears streamed down my face. Victoria set down her wine and wrapped her arms around me. Your mom is a real piece of work, she whispered. You know what the worst part is? I pulled away, wiping my eyes. Last Thanksgiving, when Gabriel said he needed space to find himself, Mom held me while I cried. She stroked my hair and told me everything happens for a reason. Hope, Victoria started. No, wait, it gets better. I grabbed my phone, scrolling through old messages. Look at this text from her, dated 2 weeks after Gabriel moved out. Sweetheart, come over for dinner. You can't keep hiding away. Let me help you heal. Victoria's face darkened as she read the message. She was already seeing him then, wasn't she? Had to be. I walked to the window, staring out at the city lights. You know what I remember most from growing up? How everyone said I was lucky to have such a glamorous mother. Camilla Armstrong, the successful businesswoman who somehow managed to be the perfect single mom too. People only saw what she wanted them to see. Exactly. I turned back to Victoria. Remember last month when I told you I thought I saw them together at that little Italian place on 4th Street? The one Gabriel and I used to love. And I told you that you were being paranoid. Victoria grimaced. I'm so sorry. Don't be. You helped me see what I needed to see. I picked up the invitation again, running my finger along the embossed edges. They're getting married in 6 weeks, at the Grand Plaza Hotel. Mom always said she'd help plan my wedding there someday. You don't have to go, Victoria said softly. No one would blame you. A memory flashed through my mind. Gabriel and I curled up on his couch, planning our future. I want your mom to help with the wedding, he'd said. She has amazing taste. Now I wondered if he'd been thinking about my mother even then. Actually, I do have to go. I walked to my desk and pulled out my laptop. But not for the reasons they think. Victoria raised an eyebrow. What are you planning? You know what I've been investigating for the paper? Those real estate investment scams? I opened a folder filled with documents. Guess whose company's name keeps coming up in my research? No way. Victoria leaned in closer. Your mom's involved. I wasn't sure at first, but then I started digging deeper. I clicked through several spreadsheets. There are millions missing, Victoria, and the signatures on these documents. I'd know Gabriel's handwriting anywhere. Holy shit. Victoria grabbed my arm. Hope, are you saying? I'm saying that my mother and my ex-boyfriend aren't just planning their dream wedding. They're also running a massive fraud scheme. I closed the laptop with a decisive click. And I'm going to expose everything, right in the middle of their perfect day. That's... Victoria paused, a slow smile spreading across her face. That's absolutely brilliant and terrifying. Are you sure about this? I picked up the invitation one last time, then deliberately ripped it in half. Mom always taught me to go after what I want, to never let anyone take advantage of me. I dropped the torn pieces into the trash. I guess it's time to show her just how well I learned those lessons. My phone buzzed with a text. Mom. Darling, did you get the invitation? Please say you'll be there. It would mean everything to have you with us. I typed back quickly. Of course, Mom. I wouldn't miss it for the world. Victoria raised her glass. To karma. I grabbed my own glass, clinking it against hers, to karma, and to making sure everyone finally sees the truth. Looking back now, I realize that moment was when everything truly began. When I decided to stop being the dutiful daughter and start being the woman who would bring it all crashing down. But first, I had 6 weeks to gather every piece of evidence, every dark secret, every betrayal. And then I would give them a wedding day they'd never forget. "Look at this," Victoria said, spreading documents across my dining room table. "Your mother's company made 6 real estate purchases in the last year alone. Each property was bought for way above market value. It had been 3 days since the wedding invitation arrived, and we'd barely slept, diving deep into my mother's business dealings. The morning sun streamed through my apartment windows, illuminating coffee cups and takeout containers scattered among the papers. "That's just the beginning," I said, pulling up a spreadsheet on my laptop. "See these wire transfers? They're going to shell companies. Gabriel's signature is on every single one." Victoria leaned closer, frowning. "When did he start working for your mom's company?" "Officially, 8 months ago." I clicked through more documents. "But look at this email chain from last year. They were already discussing investment opportunities while he was still living with me. While you were still planning your future together," Victoria added quietly. The memory hit me like a punch to the gut. "Last summer, we went ring shopping. He said he was just getting ideas." I laughed bitterly. Guess he was getting ideas all right, just not for me. My phone buzzed. Mom's face lit up the screen. "Darling, we simply must discuss your dress for the wedding. Lunch today? The usual place?" I showed Victoria the text. "Should I go?" "Absolutely." Victoria's eyes gleamed. "We need to know if she suspects anything. Plus, you might learn something useful." 2 hours later, I sat across from my mother at Café Lucienne, watching her delicately cut into her salmon. She looked immaculate as always, perfectly styled silver hair, designer outfit, not a wrinkle in sight. "I'm so glad you're being mature about all this," she said, reaching across the table to pat my hand. "Gabriel was worried you might make a scene." I forced a smile. "Why would I? You've always said everything happens for a reason." "Exactly," she beamed. "You know, when Gabriel first came to work for me, I never imagined. But sometimes love just sneaks up on you." "When exactly did it sneak up on you, Mom?" I kept my voice light, casual. "Was it before or after he moved out of our apartment?" Her fork paused halfway to her mouth. "Hope, darling, don't be crude. These things are complicated. Like your latest property acquisitions." Her eyes narrowed slightly. "What do you mean?" "Oh, just something I heard at work. You know how we journalists love our real estate stories." I sipped my water. "That development project on Riverside is fascinating. Business talk is so boring." She waved her hand dismissively. "Let's discuss your dress. I'm thinking emerald green would be lovely with your coloring." Just then, my phone buzzed with a text from Victoria. "Found something big. Get back here ASAP." "Actually, Mom, I need to run." Breaking news story. I stood, dropping my napkin on the table. "But you're right. Emerald green would be perfect." She stood to kiss my cheek. "That's my girl. I knew you'd understand eventually." I barely made it out of the restaurant before my hands started shaking. Back at my apartment, Victoria was practically bouncing with excitement. "You're not going to believe this," she said, pulling up a document on my laptop. "Remember that old family friend, Javier? He's listed as a director on 3 of these shell companies." "Javier," I stared at the screen. "He's been coming to our Christmas parties for 20 years. He used to bring me birthday presents. Well, now he's helping your mom and Gabriel hide millions in fraudulent real estate deals." Victoria pointed to a series of signatures. "And look who notarized these documents. Margaret from Mom's office." I felt sick. How many people are involved in this? Enough to make it a major story. Victoria looked at me seriously. "Hope, this is bigger than just revenge now. These people are stealing millions." I sank onto my couch, mind racing. Mom invited Javier to the wedding. He's supposed to give a toast. Perfect. Victoria sat beside me. "But we need more concrete evidence, bank records, emails." something that proves intent to defraud. I might know how to get those. I pulled out my phone, scrolling through contacts. Remember Atticus? The family lawyer who helped with Dad's estate. He's always had concerns about Mom's business practices. Will he help? Only one way to find out. I dialed his number, heart pounding. Atticus, it's Hope. I need your help with something sensitive. Can we meet? After arranging a meeting for the next morning, I turned to Victoria. You know what's funny? All those years growing up, I thought Mom was this amazing, powerful woman who could do anything. She is powerful, Victoria said quietly. She's just not amazing. No, I agreed, looking at the evidence of her crimes spread across my table. But soon everyone else will know that too. My phone buzzed again, another text from Mom. Darling, Gabriel and I would love to have you over for dinner this weekend. Family should stick together, don't you think? I smiled grimly as I typed my response. Absolutely, Mom. Family is everything. Atticus's office hadn't changed in 20 years. Same leather chairs, same wall of law books, same concerned expression as he reviewed the documents spread across his desk. He paused, adjusting his reading glasses. Troubling, to say the least. That's one word for it, I said, watching him flip through the papers Victoria and I had compiled. Can you help me access the rest of Mom's records? He leaned back in his chair, studying me. Hope, I've known you since you were 11 years old. Are you sure you want to go down this road? She's marrying my boyfriend, Atticus, my boyfriend. My voice cracked slightly. And they're stealing millions while doing it. He nodded slowly, then pressed a button on his intercom. Sandra, hold my calls, please. Turning back to me, he pulled out a thick file from his drawer. Your mother made me sign extensive NDAs, but there are irregularities I've noticed over the years. What kind of irregularities? Property valuations that didn't add up. Companies appearing and disappearing too quickly. He spread out more documents. About 6 months ago, she started moving large sums through offshore accounts. Around the time Gabriel started working for her, I noted. Exactly. Atticus removed his glasses, rubbing his eyes. Hope, do you remember when your father died? The question caught me off guard. Of course, I was 16. Your mother took control of his share of the business remarkably quickly. He gave me a meaningful look, almost as if she'd been preparing for it. My stomach lurched. What are you saying? I'm saying that your mother has a pattern of using people, then discarding them when they're no longer useful. He pulled out another file. These are copies of documents I've kept, just in case. Bank statements, contracts, emails, things that seemed off. My phone buzzed. Gabriel's name appeared on the screen. I showed it to Atticus. Answer it, he said. Act normal. I took a deep breath and picked up. Hello? Hope. Gabriel's voice was warm, familiar. It hurt more than I expected. Your mom said you had lunch yesterday. I'm glad you're taking this so well. Well, you know me. I forced a laugh. Always practical. That's what I loved about you. A pause. Love about you. As a person, I mean. Listen, I know this is weird, but I'd really like us to stay friends. I gripped the edge of Atticus's desk until my knuckles turned white. Of course, we're practically family now, right? Exactly. Hey, maybe we could grab coffee, just to talk things through? Atticus was frantically writing on a notepad. Say yes, might reveal info. Sure, I managed. Tomorrow morning, that place near your office? After arranging details and hanging up, I slumped in my chair. I think I'm going to be sick. You're stronger than you think, Atticus said, pushing the stack of documents toward me. And now you have ammunition. Is this enough to stop them? With some additional evidence, yes. He wrote down an address. There's a storage facility where your mother keeps hard copies of everything, old habits from before digital records. The unit number is on this paper. How do I get in? You don't. He smiled slightly. But I have access as her lawyer. I could accidentally leave my key card somewhere, say on this desk, while I use the restroom. As if on cue, he stood and walked out. His key card sat conspicuously next to his coffee cup. My phone buzzed again. Victoria, how's it going with Atticus? I quickly texted back. Better than expected. Meet me in an hour, bringing presents. When Atticus returned, I was studying his law degrees on the wall, his key card safely in my pocket. Hope, he said seriously. Whatever you find, whatever you do, be careful. Your mother isn't just ruthless in business. I know. I gathered the documents he'd given me. Why are you helping me? He was quiet for a moment. I knew your father. He was a good man. What happened to him? Well, let's just say I've carried some suspicions for a long time. A chill ran down my spine. Atticus, are you saying? I'm not saying anything specific. He held up a hand. Just that patterns tend to repeat themselves. And your mother has a pattern of removing obstacles from her path. I thought about Gabriel, about how quickly he'd gone from planning a future with me to working with my mother. She doesn't just discard people, I realized. She corrupts them first. Exactly. Atticus walked me to the door. Be careful tomorrow with Gabriel. Men in love can be dangerous. Gabriel's not in love, I said, thinking of the fraud documents bearing his signature. He's in business. Outside, the spring air felt too warm, too thick. My phone showed 3 missed calls from my mother and a text. Darling, I've found the perfect wedding dress for you as my maid of honor. Come try it on tomorrow. I thought about the storage facility key card in my pocket, about Gabriel's coffee invitation, about all the pieces falling into place. Sorry, Mom, I muttered, typing a response. Can't tomorrow, but don't worry. I'm working on making your wedding absolutely unforgettable. The coffee shop buzzed with morning energy as I watched Gabriel through the window. He sat at our old favorite table, checking his watch every few minutes. Same leather jacket, same perfectly messy hair, same way of drumming his fingers when he was nervous. How had I never seen the calculation behind his charm? Remember the plan. Victoria's voice crackled through my earpiece. She was parked across the street, ready to head to the storage facility the moment I had Gabriel distracted. Keep him talking, get him comfortable. I adjusted my hidden phone recorder and walked in. Gabriel's face lit up when he saw me, and for a split second, my resolve wavered. Hope! He stood, pulling me into a hug that felt both familiar and wrong. You look amazing. Thanks. I sat down, noting the coffee he'd already ordered for me. Oat milk latte, just how I liked it. So do you. Mom's keeping you well. He had the decency to flinch. I know this is awkward. Awkward? I stirred my coffee. Finding out your boyfriend of 6 years is marrying your mother. That's a bit more than awkward, don't you think? It just happened, he said, reaching for my hand. I pulled back. We never meant to hurt you. Tell me something. I leaned forward. When did it start? Really? He shifted uncomfortably. Hope, I deserve to know, Gabriel. Was it when you started working for her company? No, it was. He paused, choosing his words carefully. The investment opportunities came first. Your mother has an incredible mind for business. And for other things, apparently. I forced a smile. Those property deals must be paying off well. His expression changed slightly. What do you know about the properties? Only what Mom's mentioned. I shrugged. She's always bragging about her latest acquisitions, like that Riverside development? Gabriel relaxed visibly. Right, of course. Listen, Hope, I know this is all complicated, but I'm hoping we can move past it. Your mother really wants you at the wedding. Victoria's Inn, came the whisper through my earpiece. Storage unit located. I took a sip of coffee. Tell me about the wedding plans. Mom said it's at the Grand Plaza. Everything top of the line. He grinned. You know your mother, only the best will do. We're even flying in some guests from overseas, business partners. Lots of documents, Victoria murmured in my ear. Holy shit, Hope. There are offshore account details here, and something about your dad's old company. I kept my face neutral as Gabriel talked about flower arrangements and menu selections. My phone buzzed, a text from Javier. Need to talk, urgent, about your mother. Finding something interesting, Victoria whispered. Looks like medical records. Gabriel. I interrupted his monologue about wine selections. Did you ever wonder why Mom was so quick to hire you, to trust you with such big accounts? He frowned. What do you mean? Just that she's usually more careful about who she lets into her inner circle. She saw my potential. His tone turned defensive, unlike some people. Hope? Victoria's voice was tense. You need to see these papers about your dad. Get out of there now. I stood abruptly. This was enlightening, but I should go. Wait. Gabriel grabbed my wrist. What's really going on here, Hope? I met his eyes. You tell me, Gabriel, how many shell companies are you managing now? His grip tightened painfully. Be careful, he said softly. You're playing with things you don't understand. I yanked my arm free. Actually, I understand perfectly. Say hi to Mom for me. Outside, I practically ran to Victoria's car, my heart pounding. She sat in the driver's seat, surrounded by photographs and documents. Hope, she said, her face pale. These records, they're about your father's death, the medical reports, the timing of certain transfers. It wasn't a heart attack. My world tilted sideways. What? There's more. She handed me a stack of papers. Gabriel's been involved with your mother's company longer than we thought. Way longer. Look at the dates. I flipped through the documents, my hands shaking. These go back 2 years before he met me. He didn't randomly ask you out at that coffee shop, Victoria said quietly. He targeted you. They planned it all. My phone buzzed again. Another text from Javier. Your mother knows you're digging. Watch your back. Then another message from Gabrielle. We should finish our conversation. Come to the house tonight. What do we do now? Victoria asked. I thought about Gabriel's threat in the coffee shop, about Atticus's warnings, about my father's suspicious death. We go deeper, I said. And we make sure we have backup copies of everything. Hope? Victoria hesitated. This is getting dangerous. It was always dangerous. I pulled out my phone and texted Javier. Meet me, 1 hour, bring everything you know. Then I texted Gabriel back. Sorry, busy tonight. But don't worry, I'll definitely see you at the wedding. Victoria started the car. Where to? First, we scan these documents. Then we meet Javier. I looked at the medical records about my father. It's time to find out just how far my mother will go to get what she wants. Javier never showed up for our meeting. Instead, I got a text. Your mother's here. Can't talk. Destroy this message. This is bad, Victoria said, pacing my living room. Really bad. My phone rang. Mom's number. I put it on speaker. Darling. Her voice was silk smooth. I just had the loveliest chat with Javier. He seemed quite anxious about something. You wouldn't happen to know why, would you? No idea. I kept my voice light. Maybe he's stressed about his wedding toast. I could hear her smile. Why don't you come over for dinner? We can discuss the wedding. Gabriel's cooking. Victoria frantically shook her head. Sorry, Mom. Deadline at work. Interesting. Papers rustled in the background. Because I just spoke with your editor. He mentioned you've taken some time off. Something about a personal investigation. My blood ran cold. Since when do you talk to my editor? Oh, sweetheart, I talk to everyone. Her tone hardened slightly. Now, about dinner. Actually, I said, making a sudden decision. You're right. Let's talk. But not at your house. Meet me at Riverside Park, by the fountain. 1 hour. A pause. Just us. Just us. After hanging up, Victoria grabbed my arm. Are you insane? You can't meet her alone. I'll be in public, I said, pulling out my recorder. And I need to know how much she knows. The park was quiet as dusk settled. My mother sat on a bench by the fountain, elegant as always, in her cream-colored suit. A manila envelope sat beside her. Hope, she smiled warmly. Sit. I remained standing. What did you say to Javier? Direct, as always. She patted the envelope. Just like these interesting documents you've been collecting. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? Did you really think I wouldn't investigate? I countered. After what you did? What I did. She laughed softly. You mean falling in love? Or running my business as I see fit? I mean killing Dad. The words hung in the air between us. Her smile didn't waver. That's a serious accusation, darling. She opened the envelope, pulling out photographs, almost as serious as breaking into private storage units, gathering confidential documents, harassing business associates. The photos showed me and Victoria at the storage facility, at Atticus's office, meeting various sources. You've been watching me. I've been protecting you, she corrected. Just like I always have. You're my daughter, Hope. Everything I do is for family. Like seducing my boyfriend? Gabriel. She actually rolled her eyes. Please. He came to me. Ambitious young man. Eager to prove himself. Sound familiar, just like your father was, once upon a time. Until he started asking questions about the company finances. Her eyes glittered. Your father had a weak heart. It's in all the medical records. The medical records you falsified. Prove it. She stood, smoothing her suit. Oh wait, you can't. Because all your evidence? She dropped the envelope into the fountain. It's amazing how quickly paper dissolves in water. I smiled. You think those were the only copies? For the first time, her composure slipped. What? I learned from you, Mom. Always have backups. I pulled out my phone, showing her the screen. Like this recording of our entire conversation. She moved faster than I expected, reaching for my phone. I stepped back. It's already uploaded to the cloud, I said, along with everything else. The fraud documents, Dad's real medical records, the offshore accounts, even your conversations with Gabriel from before you set him up to date me. You're bluffing. Try me. I met her eyes. You taught me well, Mom. Never go into a fight without ammunition. She studied me for a long moment. What do you want? Originally. To stop your wedding. Now? I stepped closer. I want justice. For Dad. For everyone you've hurt. I could destroy you, she said softly. Your career, your reputation. You could try. I showed her another file on my phone. But then these documents go straight to the FBI. Your choice. She sat back down, suddenly looking older. You'd really do that to your own mother? You'd really kill your own husband? Steal your daughter's boyfriend? Ruin countless lives for profit? It's business, Hope, nothing personal. Well, this is personal. I turned to leave. See you at the wedding, Mom. I hear green really is my color. Hope, she called after me. You're making a mistake. I looked back at her, sitting alone by the fountain in the growing darkness. No, Mom. For the first time in my life, I'm not. My phone buzzed as I walked away. Gabriel, your mother seems upset. What did you do? I typed back. Just had a family chat. Don't worry. I'm sure she'll fill you in. After all, you're practically my dad now, right? Victoria was waiting in her car. Well? She's scared, I said, buckling up. And she should be. We have 2 weeks until the wedding, and now she knows I'm coming for her. What's our next move? I pulled out the real envelope of documents from my bag. Now we go nuclear. Call Atticus. It's time to get the FBI involved. The wedding rehearsal dinner buzzed with fake laughter and clinking glasses. I sat at the family table, watching my mother hold court, while Gabriel hovered at her side, like an attentive puppy. The FBI agent posing as my +1 squeezed my hand under the table. Steady, Agent Sarah whispered. Everything's in place for tomorrow. I nodded, taking another sip of champagne. The past week had been a whirlwind of secret meetings, wiretaps, and carefully planted evidence. Atticus had come through with everything the FBI needed to build their case. Hope, darling. My mother's voice carried across the table. You've barely touched your food. And who is your lovely friend again? Sarah, I smiled. We worked together at the paper. How nice. Mom's eyes narrowed slightly. Though I thought I knew all your colleagues. Gabriel leaned forward. Speaking of work, Hope, your editor mentioned you've been working on quite the story. Anything we should know about? Oh, I shrugged. Just following the money. It's amazing what people think they can hide these days. The champagne glass in my mother's hand trembled slightly. Darling, perhaps we should discuss your career choices in private. Why? I looked around the table. Isn't family supposed to share everything? Javier, sitting 3 seats down, suddenly developed a coughing fit. Hope, Gabriel's voice held a warning. This isn't the time or place. You're right. I stood, raising my glass. This is a time for toasts, isn't it? To the happy couple, to new beginnings, to secrets finally coming to light. That's enough, my mother snapped, her composure cracking. Is it? I turned to the other guests. Did you know Gabriel and my mother were involved for months before he broke up with me? Or that the company's real estate deals are all… Gabriel grabbed my arm, pulling me away from the table. Outside, now. In the hotel corridor, he slammed me against the wall. What the hell are you playing at? Let go of me, I said calmly, very aware of the wire I was wearing. You think you're so clever, he hissed, but you have no idea what your mother is capable of. Actually, I do. Dad found out too, didn't he? Right before his heart attack. His grip tightened. You need to drop this, Hope, for your own good. Or what? You'll spike my drink like you did to Dad? He stepped back as if burned. How did you… No? I straightened my dress. I know everything, Gabriel, about the long con, about how Mom hired you to date me so she could keep tabs on me, about the offshore accounts, the fraudulent properties, all of it. You can't prove anything. Check your text messages. He pulled out his phone, face draining of color, as he saw the files I'd just sent him. Documents, recordings, photographs. That's not even half of what I have, I said. Still want to marry into the family. Hope? My mother's voice rang out behind us. Is everything all right? I turned to face her, Gabriel's handprint still red on my arm. Perfect, Mom. Just having a heart-to-heart with my future stepfather. She glanced between us, calculating. Gabriel, give us a moment. Once he left, she stepped closer. What do you want? Money? A position in the company? I want you to feel what it's like to lose everything, I said quietly. Just like Dad did. Just like I did. I'm trying to protect you, she insisted. Everything I've done. Save it for tomorrow. I cut her off. During your vows, I'm sure everyone would love to hear about your true feelings on love and loyalty. Back in the dining room, Sarah was talking to Victoria, who'd arrived as another guest's date. The pieces were all in place. Everything okay? Victoria asked as I sat down. Perfect. I checked my phone. New message from Atticus. FBI team confirmed for tomorrow. All evidence secured. My mother returned to her seat, perfectly composed once again. Gabriel whispered something in her ear, and she nodded slightly. A toast. She stood, raising her glass. To family, to love, and to my beautiful daughter, who I know will make me proud tomorrow. The threat in her voice was clear. I raised my glass in return. To tomorrow, Mom. It's going to be unforgettable. Later that night, in my apartment, Victoria helped me lay out my dress for the wedding. Emerald green, just as my mother wanted. Are you ready for this? She asked. I showed her my phone. Dozens of messages from wedding guests, all FBI agents in disguise, confirming their positions for tomorrow. The only question, I said, is whether Mom will make it through her vows before the handcuffs come out. My phone buzzed one last time. Gabriel, we need to talk, early tomorrow, before the ceremony, please. He's scared, Victoria noted. He should be. I typed back, sure, church steps, 9 a.m., just us. Victoria raised an eyebrow. You're not really going alone? I smiled, thinking of the FBI surveillance team, already in place. Of course not, but he doesn't need to know that. Tomorrow then, Victoria hugged me. The end of your mother's perfect facade. Tomorrow, I agreed, hanging up my maid of honor dress. The truth finally comes out. The church steps were empty when I arrived, except for Gabriel. He paced nervously, still in his street clothes, wedding tuxedo, presumably waiting at the hotel. I was afraid you wouldn't come, he said. You wanted to talk. I stayed at the bottom of the steps. So talk. Call it off, Hope. He descended toward me. Whatever you're planning, it's not worth it. Like Dad wasn't worth it? He flinched. That was complicated. Then uncomplicate it for me. I pressed the record button on my phone, making sure he saw me do it. Tell me exactly how you and Mom planned everything. You really want to know? His face hardened. Fine. Your mother hired me 2 years before I met you. The company was my audition. If I could help her hide the money, I could help her handle you. Handle me? You were getting too curious about your father's death, starting your journalism career, asking questions. He laughed bitterly. So she needed someone to distract you, keep you busy with romance, marriage plans, a future, while you helped her steal millions. Billions, he corrected. Those properties, just the tip of the iceberg. Your mother's been building this empire for decades. Your father figured it out, started gathering evidence. So you killed him. I didn't. He stepped closer, but I helped cover it up, just like I'll help cover up whatever happens to you if you don't back off. Is that a threat? It's a warning. He grabbed my arm. Your mother's already made arrangements. Food poisoning, they'll say. Tragic accident at the reception. I yanked free. You really think you'll get away with this? We already have. He smiled coldly, multiple times. Got it all? I called out. Victoria emerged from behind a pillar, holding up her phone. Every word. Gabriel spun around. 2 FBI agents appeared from the church doorway. More emerged from parked cars. Gabriel Evans. Agent Sarah stepped forward, badge out. You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, and about dozen other charges we'll sort out down at the station. As they led him away in handcuffs, my phone rang. Mom, where are you? She demanded. The hairstylist is waiting. On my way, I said cheerfully. Just had to take care of something. See you soon. The next few hours passed in a blur of hair, makeup, and fake smiles. My mother was radiant in her wedding gown, completely unaware that half her guests were federal agents. You look beautiful, darling, she said, adjusting my emerald dress. Though you seem tense. Everything all right? Just excited for the ceremony, I smiled, especially the vows. She touched my cheek. I know this has been hard for you, but after today, we'll all be family again. One big happy family, I agreed. By the way, where's Gabriel? Isn't it bad luck for the bride to be alone before the wedding? A flicker of concern crossed her face. He's running late, last-minute errand. The church filled with guests. I stood at my mother's side, watching her grow increasingly agitated as time passed with no sign of Gabriel. Call him, she hissed. Can't. I showed her my phone. No service in here, but don't worry. I'm sure he'll turn up, unless something's keeping him busy. Her eyes narrowed. What did you do? The wedding march began to play. The doors opened, but instead of Gabriel, Agent Sarah walked down the aisle, followed by a team of FBI agents. Camilla Armstrong. Sarah's voice rang out through the church. You're under arrest for conspiracy to commit murder, fraud, money laundering. My mother turned to me, face contorted with rage. You little. Careful, Mom. I cut her off. Wouldn't want to ruin your makeup for the mugshot. As the agents led her away, I stepped to the altar. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm afraid there's been a slight change of plans. But don't worry, I've prepared a speech. I pulled out a stack of documents. Once upon a time, there was a woman who would do anything for power, including murder her husband, steal billions of dollars, and manipulate her own daughter. This is the story of how she finally got caught. The real guests sat in shocked silence as I laid out everything. The fraud, the murder, the years of deception. Victoria recorded it all, live streaming to her news website. Mom always said everything happens for a reason, I concluded. I guess she was right. Because without her betrayal, I might never have discovered the truth. So thank you, Mom. This wedding really was unforgettable. Outside, reporters had already gathered. My mother and Gabriel were being led to separate police cars. Hope, she called out. I did everything for you, to protect you. I walked down the church steps, Victoria at my side. No, Mom. You did everything for yourself, and now you've lost everything, including me. What happens now? Victoria asked as we watched the police cars drive away. I removed my maid of honor dress, revealing a simple black outfit underneath. Now, we go write the story, all of it. And after that, I thought about the years of therapy ahead, the trials, the endless questions from family and friends. After that, I said, I finally get to live my own life, without their shadows hanging over me. Worth it? I watched my mother's police car disappear around the corner, every single second. The courthouse steps were crowded with reporters as the verdict was read. I sat in the front row, watching my mother's perfectly composed facade finally crack as the judge pronounced her sentence. 25 years, Victoria whispered, squeezing my hand. Gabriel, already convicted last week, had gotten 15 years for his role in the conspiracy. He'd tried to bargain for less by testifying against my mother, but the evidence we'd gathered had been more than enough. As the bailiff led my mother away, she turned to face me one last time. I hope you're happy now, she spat. I am, I said simply. Dad would be too. Outside, microphones thrust in my face as reporters shouted questions. I held up my hand for silence. Today, justice was served, I began. Not just for my father, but for everyone hurt by Camilla Armstrong's crimes. The truth is, finally. A commotion interrupted me. Javier pushed through the crowd, looking desperate. Hope, there's something you need to know. He thrust a USB drive into my hand. I found this in your mother's private safe. It's about your father's company. There are more people involved, bigger names. Victoria grabbed my arm. Hope, look. A black SUV had pulled up to the curb. 2 men in suits stepped out, reaching into their jackets. Inside, now. Agent Sarah appeared beside us, badge out. She hustled us back into the courthouse as shots rang out. In a secure room, surrounded by FBI agents, I plugged in the USB drive. Files populated the screen. Offshore accounts, shell companies, photographs of powerful people at secret meetings. This goes higher than your mother, Sarah said, scrolling through the documents. Way higher. Politicians, judges. They tried to kill us to keep this quiet, Victoria noted. I thought about my father, about how deep he must have dug to uncover this web of corruption, about how it had cost him his life. So what do we do? Javier asked. I pulled out my phone, dialing my editor's number. We publish, all of it, right now. They'll come after you, Sarah warned. They already are. I met her eyes. But I'm not hiding anymore. Victoria pulled out her laptop. I'll start uploading to every major news site. They can't stop us all. For the next few hours, we worked frantically, releasing documents, connecting dots, exposing names. My phone buzzed constantly, with messages from other journalists, whistleblowers, more witnesses coming forward. Hope, Victoria called out, you need to see this. She turned her laptop to show me a video playing on a news site. My mother, being led to prison transport, was speaking to reporters. My daughter thinks she's won, she said, looking directly into the camera. But she's just like me, ruthless, determined. I taught her well. I closed the laptop. She's wrong. I'm nothing like her. No, Victoria agreed. You're better. You fought for truth, not power. My phone rang. Atticus. Hope, I've arranged protection for you. Safe house. New identity, if needed. No, I cut him off. I'm not running. I'm finishing what my father started. By nightfall, the story had exploded. Armstrong scandal trended worldwide. More arrests were being made. The truth was spreading faster than anyone could contain it. In the FBI safe room, I watched the coverage with Victoria and Javier. What happens tomorrow? Javier asked. Tomorrow, I smiled. Tomorrow we keep digging, keep exposing, keep fighting. They'll never stop coming after you, Sarah cautioned. Good. I pulled up a new document on my laptop, because I'm never going to stop coming after them. Victoria raised an eyebrow. What are you writing now? My next story. I showed her the title. Beyond the Armstrong Scandal, The Hidden Web of Corporate Corruption. Your mother said you're just like her, Victoria mused, determined to win at any cost. The difference is, I said, beginning to type. I'm not doing this for power or money. I'm doing it because it's right. My phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. I opened it to find a photo. My father's old desk at his company, with a note in his handwriting. The truth always comes out. Dad knew, I realized. He knew they'd kill him, but he kept investigating anyway. Like father, like daughter, Victoria smiled. Outside the courthouse, the sun had set on the day that changed everything. But for me, it felt like dawn. The beginning of something, not the end. Ready to get back to work? Victoria asked. I looked at my laptop, at the story waiting to be told, at the truth waiting to be revealed. Always, I said, and began to write. Because that's the thing about truth. It doesn't end with one story, one trial, one victory. It keeps going, keeps demanding to be told, keeps fighting to come into the light. And I would be there to tell it, one story at a time, until every shadow was exposed to the sun.